Alright, I haven't made a video in a while, but there's been some things happening in the comedy world that I've had some thoughts about. This week, Tony Hinchcliffe was the opening act for a Trump rally in New York City. There's already been a lot of online backlash. People are not too happy about one joke in particular.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
But I want to talk about something very specific in this whole thing, which is the online response defending the set. The backlash to the backlash, if you will. People have been saying things like, what, comedians can't make a joke anymore? Can't believe people are getting mad at a comedian for making a joke. Tony himself responded to criticism from vice presidential candidate Tim Walz on Twitter, saying,
"These people have no sense of humor. I'm a comedian, Tim. Might be time to change your tampon."
This kind of shit irks me. I find it irksome. Because it's ignoring the context behind the comedy set. Look at me, I'm already sounding like Gamala.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
It wasn't a comedy special. It wasn't a podcast. This happened at a rally. Are people allowed to get mad about jokes they hear at a comedy show? Sure. That's kind of lame, but sure. Are people allowed to call out things said at a political event? Yeah, definitely. Look, I don't have strong feelings about Tony Hinchcliffe. I watched the set. I didn't think it was very good. He didn't completely bomb, but I just didn't think anything he's had to say was very clever. It's possible he was thinking, well, this is a Trump crowd. I don't need to be clever. They just want to see me bash minorities, which is kind of telling. But also, I don't think the joke that people are really mad about was that offensive. It just felt kind of random to go after Puerto Rico. Like they're just going down the checklist of islands in the Caribbean to shit on. I guess that's their campaign strategy now. So, to anyone thinking that this kind of joke is simply unacceptable, I disagree. I'm sorry. This kind of thing I think is fair game in a comedy special. It would probably still bomb. However, people have every right to call out jokes at a political rally, and it doesn't mean they don't have a sense of humor. Especially this joke. Like, even the audience thought it was bad.
Puerto Rico? Okay, all right. Okay, we're getting there.
By the way, it's so fragile when you see comics blaming others for not laughing at their jokes. Like, actually, having a sense of humor is when you laugh at everything I have to say. You might say, hey, he's a comedian. Don't take everything he has to say seriously. I watched the rest of the set. The whole thing was a full-throated endorsement of Trump. And by full-throated, I mean he practically sucked him off on stage. So all the positive praise was meant to be taken seriously. At one point, he said, Trump is going to get us out of all the wars. I'm sure that was news to Israel. All right, I'm getting off track. The point is, whatever, you know? Somebody made a mean joke at a rally. I hope nobody was that deeply offended. But I also hope that we can all understand that this was different than telling a joke at a comedy show. Like, the meaning is different within an endorsement. By the way, Biden, like the fucking moron he is, chomped at the bit and went around and said that Trump supporters were all garbage. Joe, what the fuck are we doing? Calling people garbage at a political event is bad. And actually, it's worse because it's the president saying it. But that transitions into the next thing I want to talk about, which is, I think we forgot what a joke is. Also this week, this guy, Girdusky, made an appearance on CNN and said this.
called an anti-Semite more than anyone else's table.
Yeah.
And people would sit there and, no, by me. I never called you an anti-Semite. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is that...
Did you just say I should die?
You should not.
No,
Did you just say I should be killed?
No, I did not say that. I said no.
All right. I don't want to explain the entire meaning of what he said, but essentially he's implying that Mehdi Hassan, the other guy in the clip, is a terrorist. Okay. This was a joke. Like, this guy Ryan doesn't actually believe that Mehdi is a terrorist. He's just like name calling. But Jesus, man, what a hostile joke to make in a professional news setting. Ryan proceeds to get banned from CNN, and of course, he goes on Twitter saying, I guess you can't make jokes anymore. Bitch, if anyone said something like this to a colleague, they would get fired immediately. Jokes are not some bulletproof vest that let you get away with saying horrendous shit. I hate this notion that being offensive equals having a sense of humor. Like, no. Making people laugh is having a sense of humor. Comedy is about getting laughs, not just saying shocking things. And as a comedian, I care a lot about what our shared definition of comedy is. I also care about the First Amendment. Freedom of speech lets people say whatever they want, and that's a beautiful thing. But it also lets people respond how they want. Just because it's a joke doesn't mean people can't call you an asshole for saying it. At a comedy show, at least you have some protection there, where you can say like, oh, don't take what I'm saying too seriously. And most reasonable people will be like, all right, yeah, let's chill. Some people have a darker sense of humor, too. So if you want to get away with saying mean jokes, pick your audience and your context appropriately. And if they still don't get laughs...
Okay, all right.
You probably weren't that funny in the first place.